I mean, Ron Paul has been a one-man wrecking crew in this whole process. He took out Rick Perry, he took out Newt Gingrich in Iowa, and now he was the most effective in attacking Santorum. Who's the one guy that Ron Paul hasn't attacked? He hasn't laid a glove on Mitt Romney. I think that when, if Mitt Romney gets the nomination, he's going to need to give a big thank you letter to Ron Paul.
Deputy Campaign Manager Ron Paul.
Yes.
I actually have a theory.
Secretary
if
of
you rip
Defense
open Ron Paul's suit, you'll find one of the Romney sons. Actually, it's just a theory. It's just a theory.
Okay, got to turn now to Mary Madeline, Republican strategist. Weigh in, Mary.
Well, as the resident member in good standing of the vast right-wing conspiracy here, I have to say it was a great night for Mitt. He did everything he had to do. But it was a great night for Santorum, and it was a good night for Newt. Newt's the Truman Capote of politics. When he's good, he's very, very good, and when he's bad, he's very, very bad. He was very good tonight. And the notion that just because they haven't coalesced doesn't make the conservative, the desire for a conservative alternative to Mitt Romney dissipate. We do have a trajectory coming in, we have a trajectory going out, and that would be South Carolina, which has had less activity this cycle than any previous ones. They're waiting to see what happened in Iowa, which wasn't dispositive. They're going to wait to see what happened here. I think this puts it in a holding pattern for the moment in South Carolina, and I think that Mitt will win here, but if he doesn't win big, then this is a state that could be discounted because he does live here practically.
Mary, did Rick Santorum do enough tonight to continue his momentum coming out of Iowa and maybe even climb into second place?
Yes, I think he did. He needed to get past the perception that he's a one-dimensional candidate. He wants to be a full-spectrum conservative. He did that. He needed to show he was electable, experienced. He did that. He showed a full range of not just experience, but views and depth on foreign policy in particular. And he was quick on his feet. He was a fighter. I think he did everything he needed to do tonight, and but he needed to not so much attack Mitt as flesh out his candidacy. I would not be surprised if he's in the top three now.
Donna, what was the argument you heard tonight that, as a Democrat, gave you most pause?
First of all, as a Democrat, I cannot imagine a more exciting place to be on a Saturday night.
Even with the Saints playing.
With the Saints, who that? But look, there's no question. This was a battle for second place. And Rick Santorum understood that he had to come here, make a great showing tonight, remain competitive. But the next stop is South Carolina, where he has to beat Rick Perry, get rid of Newt Gingrich. Tonight was Ron Paul's opportunity, I also thought, to really show that he has not only some knowledge of the issues, but he's also going to remain in this race. Mitt Romney won tonight because no one touched him. And for Democrats, you know what? It was good news for us.
Why is that?
Because we believe that the weakest candidate is a candidate that the Republicans are not attacking, and that's Mitt Romney.
Oh, come on.
No, you don't believe that, Donna.
Donna!
I told you this was a fun place to be.
Matt, you were going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, one of the things that coming into this debate and much discussion has been about, is Mitt Romney the inevitable nominee? I don't think he's inevitable, but the whole expression about has the fat lady sung, she's in the green room, she's mic'd up, and she's getting ready to walk out on stage. And this did only to get her more ready to have the fat lady sing what happened here tonight. Mitt Romney won tonight because nobody showed up at this debate to take him down.
Well, can I just say, while all this is going on, while the coronation continues, the fat lady is filling her lungs, conservatives are meeting, they're confabbing in Texas because they're not ready for this. There's still a desire and an urge in the Republican Party to not have this be over yet. We haven't had a primary like this ever in our lifetimes, where we get to take it out a little bit. The Republican National Committee rules have been changed to elongate the process. We're delegating, apportioning delegates more slowly. There's no reason for it to be over. Contrary to popular belief. I don't think it's bad to have it elongated. There's nothing that they're going to say about each other that's not going to be heard twice as bad by Obama. So I think they all did a good
and Mary,
job.
you know, I mean, the guy that has the resources here to take a national campaign is Rick Perry, the one person we haven't mentioned at all. And I thought that for a while, Rick Perry looked like he was having maybe one of his best debate performances. And then came the moment on Iraq, where he said, I want to send troops back to Iraq. Which I think is going to be a pretty tough campaign slogan. And then he added that the Iranians are moving in literally at the speed of light, which is a pretty astounding...
One other point about the attacks, and I think we can all agree on this. I think the prolonged Hillary Clinton versus Barack Obama race ultimately made Barack Obama a stronger candidate in 2008 because, first of all, it allowed him to learn how to respond to attacks. He only just entered politics a few years before. It enabled him to get a lot of his dirty laundry out during the primary season so that by the time of the general election it was kind of old news. The fact that if Mitt Romney ends up being the nominee, the fact that he has gone through so many of these debates and so much of this campaign unscathed, without any serious challenges to him by his rivals, that does not help him as a general election candidate.
And Jake, he almost seemed to invite it this week. I was talking to Governor Romney, and he said, you know, my shoulders are broad enough, I can handle the incoming heat, almost predicting that in this debate he'd feel it in a way that he hadn't seen yet. But he didn't see it. And that's the big question about whether or not he's been tested as a candidate.
But I want to try to get, if I can, and John, I'm going to come back to you because you've covered a number of these other characters in the debate, the candidates in the debate. Why? Why do you think they didn't?
It's a great question. One, John Huntsman, I think the reason was, I think that John Huntsman has got his eye on the exits. I mean, John Huntsman had opportunity after opportunity tonight to take it to Mitt Romney and simply took
He did
a pass.
in Chinese.
He did in Chinese. We're still getting a translation on that.
Only half the audience speaks Mandarin. So
yeah, but the odd thing is that at the very end, even after Huntsman took all these passes, Romney actually threw a punch at John Huntsman and took issue and said, you are the one who has been implementing the Obama administration's policies in China. I mean, you know, policies that he says are destroying American jobs. And it was, you know, wonder why is Mitt Romney picking a fight with John Huntsman when he's on the way out the door?
Well, I just think that what that moment for Mitt Romney was, it showed him he always has to demonstrate strength and ability to stand up. That was a great moment for him, even though he didn't need to do it in this context of the Republican nomination process. It's a great way to show him, yeah, you think I'm weak and you think I wobble. Here's a way I can stand up and show strength. I actually think when you look at the totality, I agree with Mary. It's not over yet, but the interesting thing about the rules process, the way the rules are set up now and the way this is done, we have a bunch of primaries and caucuses quickly and then none for a while. The way the rules are done may actually shorten the process because of that. It may say here's 4 or 5, Mitt Romney sews up a few, and then basically you go 6 weeks with no event that nobody can say, here, I'm still in the game. It could actually do the opposite of what they thought it could do.
What's the chances they'll go dark for 6 weeks? They'll be in a created event.
They won't go dark. What will happen on the Republican side is that they will not have any contest that will bear enough delegates to give the other candidates any momentum in the race. And so they want to attack the front runner. Basically, the second place finisher in this state will go to South Carolina with some momentum, and then Florida. Florida has a lot of delegates, but they were penalized. So we're going to spend the entire month of February without anything to celebrate, but Mitt Romney marching
with
on
money,
to victory.
with money.
Mary, we only have about 30 seconds left. Let me ask you a question. Donna seemed to think that Mitt Romney is the weakest candidate to run against Barack Obama. A lot of Democrats, I think even those in the White House, may disagree with that. But why are conservatives so focused then on finding an alternative when it appears, according to a lot of Republican voters in most polls, that he would be the strongest candidate in November?
That's kind of a paradox. 75% don't want him, but 50% consistently say they're going to get him, and over 50% say that he's going to beat Obama. The reason the other candidates didn't attack him is because they need to show they're electable. The Romney thing is going to play so. They need to show that they're electable because that's Mitt Romney's biggest strength right now. They want a conservative.
And that is all the time we have tonight. Thank you all for joining us for that analysis.
And your colorful metaphors up there, may I just say. And I want to remind everybody, George Stephanopoulos will be there tomorrow morning, back in the chair at This Week. We cannot wait.
Right here. Thanks to all of us for tuning in tonight. Thanks to St. Anselm College, WMUR for co-sponsoring this debate. Tune in to abcnews.com at any time and have a great night.